Yes! Week 9 of our 12-week sentence has been completed. Hi, we're the Provident Preppers.
Week 9 out of 12 of our No Shopping Challenge has been successfully completed. Actually, it's more like 1 day short of a 13-week no.
We are so thankful to our friends and viewers who have helped us along this challenge. This week, we asked some of our friends to the sauteed dance. We had to get especially creative because our parents wouldn't cave and let us go to the store. So we ended up giving them homemade brownies, and it worked out nicely because they said yes. Check out our progress.
You're probably wondering where the bag of chocolate chips came from. Stay tuned, we'll talk about it in week 9 of our 90-day challenge review. It is harvest time, and as you can see here, we've got some peaches and some apples. We have lots of fruit coming on, and it is abundant.
This week, we were able to put up 14 quarts of peaches and 10 pints of peach raspberry syrup.
As you may recall, Benjamin has arranged with the neighbors for us to provide them with fruit and vegetables from our garden and orchard in return for his opportunity to milk the cow. This was his offering this week.
I have a dear friend named Betty, and I received a text from her saying, "Are you home by chance?" "I am. How can I help?" "I just wanted to stop by in about 20 minutes, if that's okay." And 20 minutes later, Betty shows up at my doorstep with this bag of goodies. There were 3 bags of milk chocolate chips and some chicken tenders. And she said that she would like to barter this for some kale. Who does that? Kale has nowhere near the value to me that chocolate chips have to me. But we went out to our garden and cut Betty some kale and some cucumbers and gladly accepted this very uneven exchange. Each one of the kids received a bag of those chocolate chips for their very own, and Ben was thrilled.
And you notice I got left out.
Yes, there's none for him. None for Johnny. My fancy new refrigerator has this really cool drawer as a vegetable crisper that pulls out, and I wanted to just show you what's in that drawer. So we keep these 2 containers full of bread, and the bread has to be stored in the refrigerator because natural yeast has no preservatives in it, and it will go bad and mold faster than regular bread. But in the refrigerator, it'll stay good for a while. And then it's full of vegetables and some fruit. And while I'm still making this delicious artisan bread every few days, this week was a week of biscuits. It takes just as long for me to make 5 times the amount of biscuits as it does to make a single batch. So I made this huge batch of biscuits on Sunday morning and cut them all out and put them on a cookie sheet in the freezer. I have found that when I take frozen biscuits out of the freezer and bake them, they bake up much lighter and fluffier than they actually do when I just use the freshly made dough.
Our Sunday dinner consisted of mashed potatoes from our food storage, chicken gravy made from canned chicken, also from our storage, beautiful carrots from our garden, and of course the biscuits. And we had our big family gathering on Sunday, and along with all of our family that came this can of Planters peanuts. Well, they know I like Planters peanuts. The only thing I had to offer in return is lots of love and a good meal and lots of fun.
Monday morning breakfast consisted of egg biscuits. Delicious. And I just wanted to show you the difference between his and her eggs at our house. It always starts out the same with the fried veggies and the eggs, but Jonathan smothers his in jalapenos, while I smother mine in cheese. And you notice the peaches on the side. You're going to notice a lot of peaches on the side this week.
Including peaches in my steel-cut oats. What a wonderful breakfast.
And this is a peach bean breakfast cake. I replaced part of the fat in the recipe with something called bean butter, which is just white beans that have been whipped up to the consistency of butter. And you're able to replace up to half of the fat in a recipe with bean butter, which increases the overall nutrition and lowers the fat content So these were extremely healthy.
And once again, we had oatmeal with apples and raisins. The kids seemed to love it.
It's all about the kids. It's not about us. It's about the kids.
Yep. And on Friday, which is sometimes tradition, I made fried rice for breakfast. They absolutely love it. Unfortunately, we are now out of frozen vegetables to add to this, but we do have some freeze-dried peas that we're going to try.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
And what's that on the side? Oh, peaches.
More peaches.
More peaches. And they are good.
The eggs that I make always start with fried vegetables. When I made this batch of eggs, I used sauteed onions, peppers, kale, and some zucchini. And this is Jonathan's serving. You know that because it's smothered with jalapenos, but this time he put a little bit of salsa on it too. I love candied nuts, and they are so simple to make. We have a lot of nuts in our food storage because that is one of the basic foods that we eat on a regular basis. And all I do to make these candied nuts is dump real maple syrup into a frying pan and put the nuts in it. Then I just stir it up. Takes about 5 minutes for it to change from that syrupy look to start to look just a little bit dry. And I dump them out of the pan, and they are so good. The problem with making them is that they disappear very, very quickly. I eat more than I should, and so does everybody else. This is a hamburger vegetable soup that I made that was just incredibly delicious. There's all kinds of garden veggies in there. And of course, we served biscuits on the side.
Very, very tasty.
Because this is the week of the biscuit.
And since we were unable to eat as a family that day because the girls were going from dance to play practice, we put together this little care package for them, which included 2 little cups of soup, 4 biscuits, and jam to go on top so that they could eat it on the road.
And that is one of the things that's been really hard for our family is we can't pick up any fast food, which means that we're developing a new culture in our family. And peanut butter and jelly only goes so far. These girls are going from one high intensity activity to another, and they need some good nutrition. And this is a great way to do it. But it takes so much more time. My friend Jennifer was bringing our son home from karate, but she was in a huge hurry, so we had to meet her at a gas station to exchange kids. And I asked her if she had had anything to eat, and they didn't have time to stop and get anything. So I decided I'd just pack them up some soup and biscuits also. And when I picked Ben up from that gas station, I dropped off dinner for them. And they liked it so much and appreciated it so much that the next day she shows up at my doorstep with this giant bag of chocolate chips. This is what happens when you pray for chocolate chips, because this is totally uneven exchanges that are going on here. My soup was good, but it wasn't that good. And then the girls had a chemistry lab that they were supposed to bring treats to, but they didn't tell me far enough in advance that I was able to make anything. So we just sent a box of graham crackers and some Nutella.
And I think they really, really enjoyed it.
All the girls like Nutella. We appreciate so much the recipes that our viewers share. This is one from Dee Watkins. She asked us, do you still have meat in the freezer? If so, do you happen to have a ham bone in? Here's what we do at least once a year. We have a ham dinner, and then we take the leftover bone with the meat on it and make pinto beans and ham. I add garlic, onion, seasoning salt, pepper, and jalapeno. And then the next day they take the leftover beans, add some hamburger, and make a chili. So I didn't have a ham, but I did have some of the fat that I'd put in these little packages and put in the freezer after we had a ham a couple weeks ago. I took the little bag of fat out of the freezer and I sauteed the onions and garlic with it and added that to the beans. The flavor was incredible without even adding any substantial meat. The beans were still delicious. Thank you, Dee Watkins. And notice the peaches on the side. Another recipe that we went to make needed hash browns. But when I went to get the dehydrated hash browns out of the bucket in the pantry, they were gone. But luckily, when we went downstairs, we had more hash browns stored down there. Now, it's interesting. I want you to see how we rotate things. So this is a bucket that we have in our upstairs pantry. It has a gamma seal lid so that it's really easy access. And then downstairs, we store the majority of our food to refill the buckets upstairs. And these hash browns were from 2008, and they are just as good today as they were the day that we purchased them. Well, pretty close anyway.
Yep.
So Yogi Zoller's gave us this recipe. He's the one who gave us the recipe for the peanut butter popcorn last week that was so good. So we were anxious to try this.
These are called latkes.
And we've never had them before. So this was a new experience for us. So I rehydrated the hash browns and added egg and salt and pepper. And then I fried them up in olive oil. And those are the beauties that you're looking at right there. And then we fed them to the kids. Kids try first, right? Always kids try first. And Yoki, they were a pretty big hit. Kenny and Ben both loved them with the applesauce and the sour cream with a little bit of chives. Christy wasn't a big fan. They were okay. She gave them about a 6 or a 7, and she wouldn't put any sour cream on hers, just the applesauce and the chives.
And I loved them. I didn't have it with the applesauce and the sour cream because I'm a barbecue fan. So I put barbecue sauce on, and they were great.
But ketchup and barbecue sauce overall was the big winner with the kids. They ate all the rest of these, and we weren't able to have any leftovers to make the world famous grilled cheese sandwich with. So we'll have to do it another time because we have plenty of hash browns. One of the great things about our choice of career is that we get lots of free stuff. And we were contacted this week by Matthew, who had free tickets to Dry Bar Comedy in a neighboring town for us to go and watch and review. As you can see, the kids were really excited to go. But Mom made a fatal error. I fed them before we left, but it was a long trip. It's about a 45-minute drive each way. And I didn't bring anything to feed them. And of course we get there because this is a live taping, so it's actually longer than normal. And they have their wonderful dry bar with all these fruit drinks and delicious treats to eat. And we couldn't partake of any of it. They kept saying, Mom, I'm so hungry. And I felt really bad because I didn't prepare anything for them. We had a great time. Check out Dry Bar Comedy. I'll put a little card in the corner that links to one of Ben's favorite comedians. Saturday morning, we had to travel again because we were teaching a few classes at UVU. I remembered how hungry I was the night before, and I didn't have much time, so I put bread in Ziploc bag in my purse, and that's what I was able to eat. Normally, Jonathan takes me out afterwards to a really nice lunch, and we sit down and we talk about what went right, what went wrong, how can we do better, what other resources should we create to help our students become better prepared and ready for whatever life's challenges are going to throw at them. And right now, I need to learn to be better prepared with food on the go. When we got home, we did have delicious leftovers. That's the problem. It's easy to do this at home. Well, it's not easy to do this at home. It's possible to do this at home, but it takes a lot of advanced thinking and planning and preparation to take this on the go when you have a busy life.
Thanks for joining us as we talked about our week 9 of the 90-day challenge. As usual, we have some great resources for your partaking. The Provident Prepper, skills and knowledge that make preppers resilient and self-reliant.
And that's a new one that we just put out this week, so you're going to want to take a look at that.
Absolutely. Also, Raising Confident, Self-Reliant Kid Preppers, 14 essential skills, and, of course, the 90-day challenge, survive solely on food storage and garden. These and a whole host of other great resources are available to you on our website, theprovidentprepper.org, and on our YouTube channel, The Provident Prepper. Please take a look.
We are getting pretty tired of not being able to go out to eat, and planning ahead is rough. Frankly, I miss Taco Bell.
I miss hamburgers.
And I don't like waiting until we get home to eat. But now for the question of the day. What ideas do you have for basic foods that you can take wherever you go, made out of basic shelf-stable ingredients? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.